Hey there, everybody. How's it going? And welcome to another action-packed edition of the OverMark podcast. And of course, I can't do this stuff myself, so sitting across from me, the guys who've seen it all, from the territories to today, from King Arthur to King Booker, from Trailer Park Boys to King of the Hill, my partner in crime here on the OverMark podcast, Dave. What's up, buddy?
All right. Well, hey, TJ. Nice to see you as always. Thank you for the stellar introduction there. That's nice to be liked and talked about in a positive fashion.
Oh yeah, no problem. We're just two guys traversing our way through the roller coaster of life while we watch some wrestling here and there and talk about it. And that brings us to what we're going to be talking about today, which I guess would be Raw from August 18th, 2025, and Dynamite from August 20th, 2025. We got some news, and we're going to talk about WWE Unreal Episode 4. So before we get to that, like always, check out our social medias at Overmark ENT. Just put it on whatever, you'll probably find it. No need to bore you with all that stuff. Just check them out if you haven't. So, you got into anything cool this week, Dave, or what you been up to?
Well, not much really, honestly, just work and all that stuff. I took tomorrow off because I am on call next weekend for the holiday weekend, so I thought it'd be nice to have a long weekend in which that I wasn't on call. So yeah, I'm off tomorrow. So work on the car a little bit. I had a little water in the fuel tank issue that I think I got to change my spark plugs. That's not great, but that's all good. If that's the worst thing that happens, I'm doing good.
Yeah. You've been. How many years you got out of that car?
A lot. We'll just say a lot.
Well, I don't know. My car's a little bit newer. I'm hoping to get as much years out of my vehicle as you have yours. We'll see. I got a Honda Civic, so as long as I take
Thing
care of
lasts
that thing,
forever.
yeah, it should do me all right. But yeah, it's been a pretty standard week for me. I do the roof and shit, and then I come home. I'm doing what you're doing. I'm doing what the people at home watching. Just watching wrestling, playing some video games, eating some food, sleeping, and doing the thing and repeat. It's pretty much all we got going on here, right?
Yep. Life on autopilot for the most part.
And until you do something different sometimes, which we do.
Yeah.
We went to the zoo last week, and we do stuff like that here and there to differ our lives up a little bit. Me and Cora went to go see Sting earlier in the year. He was there and he had the face paint on, and it's going to be the last year going to be able to do it. They actually announced more dates for that. He's coming back around, but he's going to be in Winston Salem, so that's going to be like up north, probably about like 45 miles. It's really not too bad of a little drive. Winston Salem, I like it. It's kind of like a college town, a lot of business, but I will not be going up because I don't want to pay $125 for. I'll get somebody else's put on that belt there.
Right. He's gonna be here in Tampa in October. I think mid to late October, and it's Wolfpack Sting makeup.
Oh hell yeah, man, that's awesome.
So I might try to take that in.
I wonder if he's going to be signing with the red marker.
Right? Maybe I hadn't considered that.
He got mine with white, so because he had the black and white Sting makeup.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it maybe you'll get your chance to meet him too. Get him to sign some piece of wrestling memorabilia or something you have. Maybe you can get him to sign a copy of WCW versus NWO World Tour or something like that.
I got my WCW NWO Revenge around here somewhere. Maybe that.
Yeah, he'd look at it and be like, "How old are you?" He'd be like, "You shut your mouth and you don't worry about how old I am,
I'd be like,
old
I'm here
man."
visiting you at a con. How old do you think that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am?
He'd be like, I can't smell you, so you're beating a lot of the guys here.
Yeah, I do wear deodorant. He is right.
Well, speaking of a show that a lot of people probably weren't wearing deodorant, I feel like it's safe to say that'd be
Oh no, it's
Raw.
a lot of people too.
Yeah, that'd be Raw from this week. So they had 12,265 and the setup for 12,637. So they had about 372 tickets left. They were in the Xfinity Mobile Arena at Philadelphia, PA. I've been in Philly. It's a pretty cool town. They got the cheesesteaks there. They got a lot of really good pizza too. Um, People are generally assholes there, so yeah, I don't think you would want to. Let me rephrase that. Random people, like if you bump into them, they're not going to be nice to you. If you ask somebody for help, they'll be polite because they know you're not from there. But just maybe don't go being in the middle of Philadelphia and some of the bad parts of it and be expecting the brightest of welcomes from some people.
I mean, when I was a kid, they were the only football team that had a jail in their stadium. So I mean, do with that information what you will.
All right. So we're gonna do the quick rundown where me and Dave will just. I'm gonna go over Raw and he's gonna go over Dynamite. So I'm gonna go over each match, a little segment that we have listed, and then we're just gonna give a one word to maybe a little bit of a short response depending on how we feel about it. That being said, we're gonna jump right into it. So we got Io Sky defeating Raquel Rodriguez. I like this. It was a great match, and they're starting to really highlight that Raquel can do the big girl stuff and look good doing it. And this is I'd say this is probably the best match of the night. Really, I don't think that's a stretch.
Probably, if not close. Basically everything that you said, and it's obvious that the stuff that Kevin Nash said about Raquel needs to work big and make everybody work to her size was taken to heart, and she's improved so much since she started working like she's big. It's night and day, and like you said, great match,
Yeah,
very entertaining. Like both of these girls, Raquel is improving every week.
yeah. And if you can't have a good match with Io Sky, something's up. But
Yeah,
Penta defeats Xavier Woods. It's just okay.
entertaining. I like Penta.
World Tag Team Champions at the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough defeat Dragon Lee and Mr. Iguana in a non-title tag team match. Um, the action in this match weren't that bad, or wasn't, but any match that highlights puppets is going to be something that I'm going to have to tag out of.
Yeah, the puppet thing is not for me. The in ring work in this match was really good, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Brandon was super hyped for this match. He's like, "It's Mister." I can't remember what he was calling him, Mister something, but I'm like, "Yeah, it's Mister Iguana, Brandon." He's
yeah,
like, "He's got the puppet, dude."
he's into it for sure, which good for him. That's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to get this kind of entertainment. He's looking at it with a
Wait,
different set of eyes.
yeah, he's got kids, and he's not a grizzled, jaded wrestling fan yet. So it's honestly cool to watch with him
Yeah,
to have that perspective.
yeah.
We're gonna have him on sooner than later. I know we talk about him every episode.
I'm enjoying it. But anyways, the man Becky Lynch defeats Natalya via submission to retain the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Um, this is pretty by the books, and I think Natalya hurt herself in the match.
That was just all right. And yeah, I think the same. We haven't seen any news that says that she hurt herself, but
I saw
it
something that said she had a
looked a
sling
little
on
tweaked.
when she left that night,
Oh wow.
or maybe it was even that they saw her in the airport with it. I'm not sure, so don't take that for any kind of fact or anything. But then we had main event Jey Uso defeats Braun Breaker in an Extreme Rules match. This match was good. Uh, they didn't do anything that you wouldn't expect them to do in this kind of match on TV. It was good, but it's like didn't blow me away.
Well, I mean, as soon as they said it was an Extreme Rules match on regular TV, I knew it wasn't going to be anything crazy. But yeah, it was a serviceable main event for Raw. Nothing offensive.
Yeah. Well, my high point of the night was the CM Punk LA Knight backstage segment. Where they're talking about having to be on the same page and all that. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of both these guys, so it's cool seeing them interact. They're not goofing around. There's no games being played. It's two men being serious.
Yep. That's a good high point. I picked the main event. I thought that it delivered, and it was cool that Roman Reigns is back. Hopefully, this will lead us somewhere good.
And my low point was the Bailey package. I don't really need to explain any further.
I was reading she's going to come back with the hugger gimmick.
Yeah, well,
Is that
I
we'll
don't
see.
dislike Bailey either. It's just this whole thing. It was just like something I felt like her acting is just not very good. It was like something some like 5-year not 5-year old a fifth grader would have done. Just not great.
Yeah. Mine ended up being Becky versus Natalya. I feel like the match could have been way better. I assume it was either not great creative or, like you had said, Natalya potentially suffered an injury, so that could have been why the match wasn't as good as what we know that both of these girls can deliver.
Well, I agree with you there. And that being said, I rated this a 3 for the night.
I give it a 4. It's just below average episode of Raw. Nothing terrible, but nothing great.
A year ago, a year and a half ago, all the stories were intermingled. Like the Judgment Day was somehow mixed in with the Bloodline, and like everybody just was mixed in these stories together, and they could flip to anybody doing anything with each other at the same time, and it would make sense. There was these small little intriguing details. Something as simple as Punk with the favor. Something so tiny, but it just has you wondering for how long. Like, what's this favor? What is it? And they don't have one thing on the show like that right now. And it just, I don't know, they did the good stuff first, and it's just now it seems like they're just kind of in a stagnant little period, and they're doing good business, but creatively there's a lot to be desired.
Bit of a lull. It would be a fair statement, I think.
I agree too. Well,
And speaking of lull, we got AEW Dynamite from last night, August 20th, 2025. They also recorded Collision. I didn't know that until I was doing the show prep
yeah,
today.
they
I'm like,
did.
it makes sense. But it says here that they had attendance of 7,705 out of 8,002.
Good for
It
them.
says 297 available. That's a pretty good number for AEW. And forgot to say it about Raw, but Raw had a hot crowd, and this one had a pretty hot crowd too. They were
About half
at
the
the
time.
well, for the stuff that was good, they were excited,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a lot of good stuff.
They weren't
What
reacting
is
to
it?
the NJPW guys at all. Did you notice
No,
that?
yeah, it's because nobody knows who they are outside of Japan.
And the hardcore fans too, but
Yeah, but
but go on
yeah,
ahead.
they don't build the guys anyway. It was at the OVO Hydro. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
OVO? I don't know.
who cares?
And they were in Glasgow, Scotland,
That's all we got
so
to
they're
know.
overseas. Cool stuff. There was actually not a lot of matches on this show, which I was surprised. Usually they have like twice as many matches as what is on Raw, but there was a lot of storytelling this episode.
They did what we always accused them of not doing, and have um, like a beginning, middle, and end built on your main event scene.
Yeah. So somebody's listening somewhere. But here's our quick match results. We had Tanahashi and JetSpeed, which is Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, defeating the Death Riders, consisting of Moxley, Cassioli, and Wheeler Yuta, in a match that I didn't want to see. If you guys have caught any of the last few episodes, I feel like we've been saying for over a month we don't want to see these guys, but here we are.
Yeah, they're and the weird thing is like I don't think Moxie's even working a program against these guys. Like JetSpeed, he just happens to wrestle them every week, and then like somebody that he's in a feud with, whether it's Darby or like whoever else, like who brought out the bag with Darby in it this week? Was that Will? I believe it was Will,
Yeah.
because then he grabbed Marina, ran with them, and then made it seem like Marina was in the bag, but she wasn't. But either way, it's just like it's not intriguing. I know that you're not gonna have the payoff to All In every month, but it's like it's funny. I bet you that Hangman's not gonna be in the main event. It's gonna be the 5 versus 5 garbage match.
Oh no, I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, Mox is still the main event.
God damn it. Well, speaking of matches that people don't want to see, at least this match had 50% of people that I wanted to see. We had FTR versus Brodido, which, as everybody may or may not know, is Brody King and Bandito. It ended in a time limit draw. And as soon as the girl announced it, the girl was then like, Tony Khan has just made official the AEW tag team title match for Forbidden Door is now a 3-way. And I don't know. They're, I'm gobsmacked and flabbergasted. I don't know why they had a 30-minute time limit draw with these guys, but whatever.
I like this match. It was pretty good. Um, I guess they had to have Brody King cut himself open and have a crimson mask and sit around for a while to have the match, or have him last in a 30-minute match. But I thought he did good for what he did, and Bandito really carried this fucking team on their end. And FTR can have good matches with anybody, and they had a great one with these guys here. And this is definitely the highlight in ring wise of the night.
That's fair. 3 matches, so
Yeah.
process of elimination.
Yeah.
Then we had Mercedes Moné and Athena defeating Toni Storm and Alex Windsor. Isn't Alex Windsor the gal that's with old Osprey or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yep. That's her. She's got that outfit wedged up her butt crack so far. It's ridiculous, man.
She
Like,
does. She it's a nice outfit. She's a nice gal.
yeah.
All the girls in this match are nice girls. It was an okay match. The her sniffing Mercedes is getting kind of weird, but yeah, whatever. I'm sure that appeals to a segment of the fan base.
I wasn't into this match at all. It lost my attention. I'm like spacing out while I'm looking at the TV, and it just didn't feel like there was really the story or connections there. But we'll get there in the low point.
Yeah, I was shopping on Reverb a bit during that match. Actually, I was just looking at some couple of things, interface stuff. Yep. Well, on that note, we're gonna do high point, low point, which is everybody's favorite part of the episode. My high point was the Christian Cage Adam Copeland segment. It was really cool to see them working together, even though they're still kind of acting adversarial to each other. The you know these guys are one of the best tag teams ever. I wouldn't say that they're one of the best ever. Maybe they're on the Mount Rushmore tag teams. Maybe they're not. I don't know. There's a lot of tag teams out there that are great. These were a prominent, great tag team when I was a teenager and young adult, and it's as a middle-aged 42-year-old guy, it's pretty cool to see them back together one more time. And I not a fan of Luchasaurus, but I guess he's there. That is what that is.
You see, like it was Jack Perry, like outfit that was like doing the little vials and doing the little chemical set to bring Luchasaurus back. So expect him back here soon, and he's not going to be teaming with any of these guys probably. But yeah,
He needs to be teaming with the unemployment line. Get that guy the fuck out of here.
yeah, I agree. But my high point was MJF. I think it was like third week in a row. I've just him just in general. He carries this show for me. He's the only thing that makes it bearable. If he wasn't in this show, I would rate it a 0 every week.
Were they gonna set Mark Briscoe on fire?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that right?
I don't know if you remember, but I've been criticizing this show for manslaughter attempts or murder attempts like every week. I feel like. Remember, Darby tried to like kill Moxley, and then they did something else with somebody the week after. I can't remember, but it happens a lot. It's the stabbing with Kyle Fletcher and
Yes.
Dustin's leg. It's I don't know. At one point, you just bring a gun in, and it's just like a gunfight. Because if it's just about who can use weapons the best, well, it's like I can bring a drone in that'll like hit you with a blow dart, like in the neck, and like I'll just win every single match.
Well, yeah. At what point is it like a submission match and the guy just brings a gun to the ring and makes the guy give up?
Yeah, just
like, give up or I'll shoot you.
But it's okay if it's not a knife, or it can't be a knife, but we can do a screwdriver. That'll work. But anyways, go on ahead.
I wonder what the deal with that is. Anyway, my low point was the Death Riders versus JetSpeed and Tanahashi. Poor Tanahashi's catching strays, but yeah, whatever.
You see his elbows like running to it. He's just like that. That's what he gives him. It looked terrible, man.
Yeah.
But I agree. That match stank, and I put the main event, the ROH Women's World Champion Athena and TBS Champion Mercedes Moné defeating the AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm and Alex Windsor. And the reason I did that is just because it just feels like they didn't have anything for Toni afterwards. And you figure Athena, okay, cool, that's that ROH Women's Champion. So and they've built her up for a while, so maybe this will be something good. But it just feels like an afterthought. Athena just isn't. She just can't build interest in her promos, and they're letting her cut promos, but they stink. And overall, I just feel like Toni Storm's just kind of an afterthought on the show right now in a program that's second rate when really she has the talent to be the top billing if you have her in programs that match that top billing. So until that happens, I'm going to be pretty disappointed in anything that they do with Toni Storm because she's one of the best things they got on the show.
Yeah, I mean that's her and MJF.
Yep, but MJF's doing good stuff.
Well, and also Christian and Edge being team backup.
Yeah, I'm looking
That'll be
forward to
cool.
that too. But yeah, I gave this a 3. What about you?
I also gave it a 3. This was a substandard episode, just slightly worse than what Raw was
Yeah,
for me.
these were about the same for me. And like I told you, if MJF wasn't on the show, I would have given it a 0 or a 1. He's carrying the show for me.
Well, yeah, Raw has more people that I like on it, so that got it the 4.
But MJF's like heavy carrying it. He's such a talented guy, man. Like it's nuts. I I don't know. I don't want to keep going on this. We'll move on. Why don't you hit that button when you're ready, Dave?
And I got news for you.
Well, thanks, Ice T or Cube or whatever your name is there. And we're going to jump right into our first little news segment here, and that is a report that we have WWE Raw, and it may be moving to an earlier time slot beginning next month. So, I saw this the other day, and I sent it to Dave, and it started kind of like springing up all over the place. So, this has been a couple day news thing here, but a quiet but significant scheduling changes on the horizon for WWE's flagship show. WWE has updated the advertised start times for multiple September episodes of Monday Night Raw, indicating that the program may shift to an earlier broadcast window beginning next month. So the new start times here, according to the WWE's official event listings, following dates have been moved up by 1 hour. September 15th in Springfield, Mass., 6:30 p.m. local start. September 22nd, Evansville, Indiana, 5:30 p.m. local start, 6:30 Eastern. And then September 29th, Raleigh, North Carolina, 6:30 p.m. local start. So traditionally, Raw is aired live from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern. These updates suggest that WWE may be testing a 7 p.m. Eastern start, which would end the program by 10 Eastern, which me and Dave like that. I wish the show started at 6. But
Yeah, I don't mind.
yeah, so why is this happening? They haven't provided any real reason. They haven't talked about it at all, really. But industry speculation centers around Monday Night Football. By shifting Raw up an hour, WWE could also avoid overlapping with the NFL's opening quarter and fourth quarter, historically the most watched portions of those games. Such a move would also mirror strategies WWE has used in the past when navigating heavy competition, with the goal of preserving rating strength for Raw during the NFL season, because it definitely does impact it every year. For now, these updates were only reflected on live events, but if confirmed, September could mark the beginning of a new broadcast era for WWE's longest-running weekly television show, which wouldn't be bad at all. You know, I enjoy it. That means that I can watch wrestling early and then get back to my night and finish up stuff before I lay back down. Because, sometimes I'm beat after work, so I'll fall asleep watching Raw. It doesn't happen much, but it does happen. What do you think, Dave? You like it when it starts earlier too, right?
Yeah, there was a time or two earlier this year that
Yeah.
it started at 6.
2 weeks in a row.
And it was over by like 8:30, and that was just awesome. I mean, you were able to kind of putz around for a little bit of the night and just wind it down. And we might sound like old guys here, but it's nice to not have to just instantly go to bed when this stuff is over.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. So it says right here 7 o'clock. So that just means the listings for the events, that they're just opening them up a little bit earlier now. So then that's just what they're basing the show starting off of, the live listings. Because that's what I understood that as. Because it's a little bit weird because this says 6:30. And then if it started at 6:30, that would mean that it would basically end up the show would end up ending. So it's 6:30, boom, boom, 8:30. So it'd end up at 9 because the show's technically 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that wouldn't still be too bad, I don't think.
Nah.
The kids are just going to bed. You can send them off watching Raw happy. They don't have to watch it the next day and buggy about it. You don't have to DVR anything. You get it out of the way. And you see if you liked it or not. And then we get to move on. Right?
Yep. And speaking of moving on, we've got more news.
Yeah, we do.
And we've got a report here that's been going around. Everybody's been talking about this for a couple of days now. WWE's considering Chris Jericho for a surprise return at the Royal Rumble. This would be pretty cool. The wrestling world is buzzing about the future of Chris Jericho as new reports suggest the former multi-time world champion could be eyeing a surprise WWE return once his current AEW contract expires later this year. Heavy speculation around the Rumble 2026. On Wrestling Observer Radio, old Uncle Dave reported that there's been a
Scum.
lot of talk within both WWE and AEW about Jericho's next move. Much of that speculation points towards a Royal Rumble 2026 appearance, with WWE reportedly showing strong interest. Meltzer explained, "There's been a lot of talk about WWE. I know from the WWE standpoint that there is a lot of talk about Jericho, people speculating Royal Rumble. Nobody has officially said anything, nor will anyone officially say anything." Man,
Yep.
he says a whole lot of not saying anything while saying a whole bunch of words.
Yeah, he
Good
sucks.
God, yeah, he stinks. And anyway, we got he's off TV but not out of sight. Jericho has not appeared on AEW programming since
It's
April
true.
when he was written off of television. Since then, his absence has only fueled rumors, especially after he recently liked a social media post referencing a possible WWE return. Yeah, TJ had sent me that. The like the morning it happened.
Yeah.
The timing could be perfect. With his band Fozzy now wrapping up its latest tour, Jericho's schedule has opened up and
Fozzy.
what's up?
Nothing, just Fozzy, man.
Yeah, I can't believe that's still a thing. Should he decide to return to the full-time in-ring competition if the rumors prove true, a surprise comeback at the Rumble would mark Jericho's first WWE appearance in nearly 6 years and could set the stage for one of the most shocking return moments in recent Rumble history. A little note here from myself from when I was making these notes earlier. AEW needs to start building more homegrown guys. If they really lose Jericho, he's one of the biggest stars that they have in the company, if not the biggest, most likely. The biggest stars that they'll have left after him that are still working in the ring are Christian, Copeland, and Moxley, and MJF. Only one of those guys is a homegrown guy, and every single one of those guys is probably going to go to WWE for their next contract, if not that one, the most assuredly the follow-up one.
Yeah, man.
What do you think of all that?
I don't know, I got a couple different takes on it. So, like, Jericho's kind of worn out his welcome in AEW, similar to Cody, but in a different manner. So the fans are kind of done with him. You know, that Jericho vortex, everybody knows about it. He's
Yep.
he's known for latching onto younger talent and kind of ruining their push. You remember he did that to MJF, and he's the only guy that rebounded from that. He had like that little program with Ricky Starks, and like nobody really seemed to like get good. Remember they had that like mimosa match with Orange Cassidy. Like there's all these like matches that these people have had these programs and builds with, and it doesn't seem like it went anywhere. You remember when he made Action Andretti? I mean his AEW run just there's been some highlights and some good moments that I have liked, but overall that's just he's an entertainer and a wrestler, but he's an entertainer over a wrestler. WWE is perfect for somebody like Chris Jericho because that's what he wants to do. He wants to sing, dance, entertain, and he can't do that as much in AEW. The fans don't like it as much, and that's perfectly fine. They don't have to. Everybody's got their different taste and what they like. But Chris Jericho looks like crap. I hope he's been working out because there's been times where he has looked good throughout the years in AEW, but he's hogged up a lot of time, and I here's how I'm going to put it and leave it. If Chris Jericho is coming to do his retirement tour a year, maybe he's got a 2-year contract in WWE, and then they start really pushing that whole last year similar to Cena's, because Chris Jericho is a legend in wrestling. He does deserve the same treatment as John Cena. I think Chris Jericho is a better performer than John Cena. So
Most assuredly.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't get the same treatment. And I'd be all about that if that's something that they wanted to do, and I would sign right off on it. There's a lot of cool things that they could do with that. But if he's wanting to go to WWE and hang around for 5 more years, I am not all about that. I don't want to see that. And it's similar to the Sheamus thing, man. And I like Chris Jericho way more than I like Sheamus, but there has to be a certain point to where it's like, I know you were there in my childhood. I love you, man. And I would like to see you maybe venture into some other stuff. Maybe the broadcast booth. There's all kinds of stuff you could do in wrestling. I'd love to see you behind the scenes too. It would be cool to have his blueprint on producing. He would be great at something like that, I think. But, I don't know him personally, but from what it seems, he really likes telling people what to do. So I think that could work pretty good for him. But overall, that's my thoughts on there. What do you think?
Oh, that That was pretty much it. Just hopefully he shows up. It'd be cool to see him back in WWE. You know, you get that pop, get that exciting Chris Jericho stuff. There's a lot of unfinished business. Hopefully Kevin Owens comes back and is healthy, and they had their program that they never really got to see all the way through because Vince cut it short on them.
You know what would be cool seeing something? Like him and Braun Breaker working against each other. Like a program like that.
Yeah.
I think he could help Breaker a lot, come out of a shell a little bit. I just think he when it comes to wrestling minds, I think he's actually legit got one. You know, like when people talk about like him constantly reinventing himself, that's not a lie. That's legit.
Nope.
He's done that, you know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to if that is something that he does do because I feel like the AEW run, it's just kaput.
Run its course. Yeah.
Yep. Well, so is this segment, and we're going to jump to our next segment here, and that's going to be WWE Premium Live Events to move to ESPN starting in September. So everybody heard about this, but they thought it was next year. Well, we got some bad news for you if you didn't want to jump into this and you were looking forward to maybe the end of the year and watching Peacock on these things and not paying a lot of money. Well, that's not going to happen. A major shift in WWE's media landscape is now official. PLEs will begin airing on ESPN platforms next month. Well, ahead of the previously announced 2026 start date. So Peacock deal ended early. According to Brian Alvarez of Figure4Wrestling.com, which has a goof owner, by the way, WWE has fulfilled its contractual quota with Peacock following its addition of a second night of SummerSlam and the evolution of the all-women's event. I don't know why I read that funny. As a result, the upcoming Clash in Paris on August 31st will be the final WWE PLE 2-stream on Peacock in the United States. Sorry, that was a lot for me. But yeah, it was basically just saying how they keep just coming up with these random PLEs out of nowhere. Well, they had a certain amount of numbers of dates that they had with Peacock, and with adding Evolution, with adding Clash in Paris, the second night of SummerSlam. These weren't on the schedule before then, and those finished that finished their contract with them. And then Alvarez explained they have it confirmed that due to the added day of SummerSlam and additional shows, including Evolution, the Peacock quota for PLEs will be fulfilled by Clash in Paris, and all future shows will be through ESPN. The ESPN partnership launches next month, and this accelerates the start of that WWE 5-year partnership worth $1.6 billion with rights agreement with ESPN. That has been scheduled to kick in March 2026. Well, instead, the deal will now begin with the September 20th event in Indianapolis, which is rumored to be headlined by John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. The events will stream on ESPN's new direct-to-consumer platform priced at $30 per month. I'm sure you've all heard about that because everybody's been talking about it. So what this means going forward is that this marks the end of WWE's 5-year run on Peacock, which began in 2021. Feels like it was just yesterday, man. For fans, the move represents a significant cost jump, but also underscores WWE's growing leverage in the streaming market. With ESPN now in the fold, WWE's major events are positioned alongside UFC, creating what could be the most powerful combat sports lineup under one streaming umbrella. I don't know if this actually does highlight their leverage in the space. If it highlighted their leverage, they would have just been tossed on another platform that wasn't new. This is a new platform. That sucks. You don't want to go on an unknown platform. You want to go on a proven platform. You want Netflix. You want something that has a lot of people on it. And this is unproven. So really, that isn't anything. This is Nick Khan being an ultimate businessman. And despite the fans and it not being a good deal for them, he did what's good for the company. And he's like, you know what? We're going to get more money and somebody's got to pay for it. And it's going to be ESPN and it's going to be the fans. They don't care about you. I hate to break the news to you. And if they really did, they would have taken that other deal. They said that they had another deal. I forget what company it was from. But it was for a little bit less money. And the price wouldn't have changed for whatever service it was on. It might have even been Peacock, NBC. I'm not sure, but what do you think, Dave?
It's not great, and we're getting screwed here. It's unfortunate that there's going to be such a increase in it's a lot more tedious to figure out how to watch everything now.
Yep. Yeah, And again, like we don't know anything about this platform. It doesn't exist yet. So I mean, it could be crappy and terrible and streaming 7 or 1080i, and we don't know anything about this. And I can promise you one thing: the VPNs are going to be awful strong with the WWE fans moving forward.
Probably.
Well, I think we can move forward to the next segment if you want, Dave. Take us on in.
Oh boy. Well, this was some news that came out today, and I know we've been Hulk Hogan and you guys a lot, but we're gonna Hulk Hogan you one more time. We have a report here that Hulk Hogan's death may have been caused by medical malpractice. A shocking new report suggests that the WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan's death may have been linked to medical malpractice rather than natural causes. According to TMZ Sports, law enforcement sources cited in Clearwater Police Department's report say that a witness at Hogan's home alleged his phrenic nerve was severed during a recent operation, ultimately leading to his passing. Witnesses at the scene, TMZ reports that an occupational therapist was present at Hogan's Florida home on the day of his death. The therapist told police that he was the victim of malpractice. I don't know why I can talk today. Following either a recent heart or neck procedure, Hogan's wife, Sky Daly, was the one who noticed that he had stopped breathing and made the 911 call. The role of I don't know if I'm even saying this right, but phrenic nerve is vital for breathing as it controls the diaphragm. Sources close to the situation told TMZ that Hogan did not suffer a typical heart attack-like episode. He merely stopped breathing. This new detail contradicts initial reports that Hogan had passed away from a heart attack while battling chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Brooke Hogan had concerns. These revelations appear to support the concerns expressed by Hogan's daughter, Brooke. On Instagram, Brooke stated that she'd received calls from medical professionals and law enforcement urging her to obtain the body cam and 911 footage, which they suggested could change the narrative surrounding her father's death. Brooke also voiced frustration at her lack of legal authority in post-mortem decisions, noting that her father's wife controls all proceedings. She publicly questioned why Hogan's general physician, whose past record she criticized, was allowed to sign off on the death certificate. The autopsy and records are still under lockdown. According to Brooke and TMZ, an autopsy has been completed, though the results remain undisclosed. Body camera recordings and 911 tapes from the incident are reportedly under lockdown and not accessible via the Freedom of Information Act, which is kind of strange. As of last week, Hogan's body had not yet been cremated, leaving questions about the final outcome of the investigation. Just before recording today's show, Sky Daly has confirmed via TMC Live an autopsy was performed and that his phrenic nerve was in fact compromised. The Clearwater Police had a short statement that was, the unique nature of this case has required us to interview multiple witnesses and seek medical records from a variety of providers, and our detectives continue to do that, the police department had said in its statement. The ongoing probe continues despite the medical examiner's report, which concluded that his cause of death was natural. Well, if they're saying that his phrenic nerve was severed and that led to an uncontrollable diaphragm, which led to suffocation and ultimately a heart attack, that's pretty terrible and probably grossly negligent of the person that performed the procedure. I don't know. It's a lot to take in there. What do you think of all that, TJ?
I don't know. That makes me mad. It makes me want to find whoever did that and do that to their nerve. See how it feels to them. And nobody deserves to have something like that. We all deserve the best healthcare we can get. And when it comes to somebody like that, who I imagine is paying a ridiculous amount of money for healthcare, and that's a celebrity, and it's Hulk Hogan. You take care of that guy, and you make sure you're doing the best job you can. And brother, if I find your name and find out what you're at, I'm gonna send you a box of turds, brother. They're gonna stink. Wow. Yeah. And I might send you some other stuff too, but it's all gonna be turd related. Dave might send you something else too. Oh no.
We don't have a poop sound.
Well, maybe we will in the future, but I don't know. I don't want to ramble on this too long, but that makes me sick. Like literally, I don't
It-
like that at all.
It's really not great. I questioned even putting this into the show today, but
It can't hurt.
it was topical, so I figured it was something to talk about.
Yeah.
Sorry to have to talk to everybody about this today. Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on here, and we're going to talk about WWE Unreal. This is episode 4 out of 5, so we're almost done, and this is called Heel Turn. There's 5, right, Dave? I believe there's 5.
Yeah.
It says there's more. There's more coming soon. So
Next year we're gonna get another 5 or 10 episode
Yeah.
season. They were saying.
I'm enjoying it. I like the little artist stuff that they did on this episode, specifically transitioning from scene to scene and stuff. It's some pretty cool little touches.
The storyboarding
Yeah.
or whatever.
But this
That
one
was
was
cool.
fine. It wasn't a train back by any means. It certainly wasn't the all-time episode WWE wants you to think it was, but instead it was exactly why their creative swings and either flop hard or get wrecked, walked back the second they feel pushback. I know I said that weird, but I don't know. Basically, this was kind of weird because to me, it's like you figure all this stuff would have been figured out beforehand, but it's like they're talking about what are you thinking you're gonna do when this? Are you thinking that there was like pre-planning with you and Cena, or are you just coming out and going on the fly? It's like you haven't even figured that out yet, But and then the Travis Scott experiment. Who was this for? So apparently, if you believe in the documentary, Travis Scott was more important to this angle than John Cena or Cody Rhodes. Triple H and Nick Khan are sitting there bragging that before even calling Cena, they ran the idea by The Rock and Travis Scott. Cody even admitted that he was blown away that Travis Scott's opinion ranked above his own. And what did we get for it? A completely out-of-place cameo that looked more like a PR stunt than good storytelling. They even show Scott throwing a punch that left Cody with busted eardrum and a black eye. Fans online nailed it best. They spoke to Travis Scott before Cena or Cody. Absolutely brain dead. Because couldn't have said that better, but John Cena's heel turn, it's all sizzle, no steak. So the Cena turn was presented like some masterstroke of sorcery. They made this huge point of how only 5 people knew and how this was the most protective creative call in years. On paper, it sounds impressive, and in practice, it lasted about 5 minutes before Cena was back smiling, saluting, and waving the towel around. Yeah, it was funny. It's been a wreck. But the episode tries to spin it as WWE testing the waters or exploring unpredictability. Nah, it was just kind of a half-hearted heel run that never had the legs to last. And on episode 4, it accidentally reminds everyone of how pointless it really was. Bold move, I guess, but it was immediately undone. I guess it's classic WWE to some extent. Or maybe not. Vince fucking stuck with what he wanted, but... and then in this, which we've already talked about a little bit, The Rock declared the final boss the GOAT heel. He did that early on in the episode. So then we get The Rock sitting down, straight-faced, and declaring that the final boss is the greatest heel in wrestling history. Really? Better than Flair, Piper, Vince McMahon, even Hollywood Hogan? I don't know, man. That's just peak delusion. And the documentary framed it like some kind of mic drop, but instead it came across like WWE patting itself on the back for an angle that has already soured on. Or that the fans already soured on, sorry. It's funny because I watched this today before we did this, and I was watching the record, and we're sitting there talking about it, and it's like, it's funny that heel run has already ended. And like you see the results of it, hasn't been good, but so we give some credit where credit's due, though. Unreal continues to give us interesting glimpses into the process. We see creative pitching, what ifs, and we see who exactly signs off on things, and we get proof that wrestling is just controlled chaos in a suit. But that's also the issue. It's curated chaos, and they want you to believe that this is a genius moment in history, when really it's just another overhyped experiment that collapsed under its own weight. So our final verdict here is that the Travis Scott crossover felt like a marketing department idea, not really a wrestling storyline. Or with wrestling fans, like who cares about Travis Scott? And then the Cena heel turn, it was great in theory, and it was embarrassing in execution. The Rock's commentary was like pure company line with like no credibility. The Rock's just a corporate. It's funny you talk about he wants Cody's soul, maybe because you gave yours up, Dwayne.
Yep.
Maybe your soul's gone. But anyways, episode 4 was okay, but mostly for the wrong reasons. Instead of proving WWE can still shock the world, it showed that when they try to chase mainstream attention or to try to manufacture all-time moments, it usually blows up in their face. Sometimes it's when they don't do them right. They got to be planned right, and you got to feel the crowd out. And this wasn't really feeling the crowd out. It was just, let's just shock everybody.
Yep.
I wasn't shocked. We all kind of knew that this was probably going to be happening. I don't know. The Cena heel turn just hasn't fucking been good. It just hasn't. He's had a couple good promos. He had a couple good matches. His best match was the last one at WrestleMania SummerSlam, when he was a face again. So it's like instantly when he goes back to face, he has a better match. And I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I've never been the biggest Cena fan. I respect him sticking around, helping the kids out, and trying to put the companies on his shoulders at a time when they were struggling creatively. But in the end, to me, and I think to Dave too, he's just always going to be known as me, to the guy that had to wear the shoes of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. And it's impossible to do. And he just, if they got size 10s, he's got a size 1. He's just not, he would never be able to fill their shoes in his best day. And it's just, his run before sucked. This run sucked too. And I'm looking forward to Cena getting on out of there so he can enjoy his life and retire. I'm sure he's a great guy and he deserves all the love and respect in the world from his fans. But you're not going to get that from this guy here. And that's my take on that. What'd you think about the episode, Dave?
It was a decent episode. Nothing great. Nothing to write home about. That Rock stuff was just, I know we talked about it on a Wrestler Said What segment a little bit ago, but my God, just completely delusional. And them calling Travis Scott before calling Cody and Cena is just brain dead. Like we said earlier, I'm brain dead too, apparently.
Yeah. But I think they did a great job, like they always do. The production's amazing. The interviews are great. The questions are awesome. The everything about the way that it's shot up is great, except for the obviously fake segments, the bullshit. The only thing I feel like that's legit during that is when they're filming Triple H and his reaction with people in Gorilla right when they come to him, or right when a match is happening and they're looking at him in Gorilla. But beyond that, there's not much real wrestling stuff that's going on. I feel like that scene where they were going over all the guys talking about the Elimination Chamber, where Punk suggested the finish, where he gets stomped, where he like gets out of the rug. I feel like that was legit. They were taping them going over the match. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, some of this stuff is going to be, legit, but
I think that's worth it.
Some of it's definitely worked.
I think that's worth it, though. We don't ever get a glimpse into this kind of stuff any other time. So if this is the only way we can get glimpses into some of these things, I think that's badass.
Yeah, it's cool to see the creative process too, how they're all Skyped in or Zoom or whatever they're using.
Yeah.
Just how it gets done, the nuts and bolts, that's interesting.
If I could give this a review, I could give it 4 out of 5 bags of popcorn.
Okay. I'd probably give it like 3.5. It's all right.
I'm just joking around. We don't give ratings by popcorn bags.
We do now.
All right. Well, you want to take us on out of here?
Yeah. Well, that's we're gonna get on out of here. Make sure that you guys tune in for our next episode. That'll be coming out this Sunday. We'll have our SmackDown and Collision review. We'll have the news. We got the King of the Hill episode 5 and 6 recap.
Been awesome.
Plus, who knows what else? Yeah, I haven't watched those episodes yet. I try to watch them the day that we do the show so that they can be really fresh. Can't do that with everything that we do, obviously, but, King of the Hill is short and it's easy to digest. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social medias at OverMark ENT. Like, comment, and subscribe on our videos. We're almost to 500. We're hitting that magic number. We need some help defeating old Al. He keeps kicking out of our finish, but we're working him down.
And we're gonna lay that stinky old Al down for the count. But
that's right. And thank you, TJ, for the fun episode. I enjoyed this. It was a nice time.
Yep, it always is. I do have to admit something, though. I've been slacking on the Chrono Trigger. I'm only about level 20. I'm about to get to Magus, so I gotta step it up, and I'm going to. This weekend, I can lay in bed with the dogs, and since I'm playing on my 3DS, and I'll just put some movies on, and I'll get at it. But I'm looking forward to doing that.
I started a new game plus, and I've done a little bit. That's not much.
I'm looking
I'm
forward to
probably
it.
just gonna cheat and do one of the endings I haven't done yet. Like just go to the ending from the fair or something.
That's
That's
fine.
like the hard ending to get, they say.
Yeah, I just want to eventually get a game up that's like level 99. That'd be real nice. But that being said, I appreciate you, Dave. I appreciate the people for listening. Like, sub, all that stuff. You know, we'll hit you with all that stupid, annoying crap every time. Check out, the social medias. But we're going to get on out of here. I'll talk to you soon, Dave. We'll talk to you over Maniacs soon as well. Check out the Twitter if you want to see us arguing with Dave Meltzer. Actually, you can't. I got the guy to block me today because he can't take facts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a segment on that at some point. But we will not be arguing with him anymore. But we got the Instagram, Twitter. We're doing all of the stuff. You want to talk to us on any one of them, we'll be there. We appreciate you. I'm about to hit this music. We're going to get on out of here. See you guys later.
Everybody, see you later.
DJ's yelling at a gift, Dave's eating crab. We skipped our bills to watch Raw live and ranked 800 wrestlers just to survive. Our muscles are fake.